This is Into the Fire. I'd like to welcome to Into the Fire the highly talented, the super fast, the guy with the killer smile, Fabian. I want that Supercar Championship, Coulthard.
That's it, not a bad intro, buddy.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. So, born in Britain, raised in New Zealand, moved to Australia. You're like a walking, talking atlas, aren't you, Fabian?
Absolutely, yeah, mate. I've been everywhere. You know, I grew up in England, like you said, moved to New Zealand, did all my schooling and everything like that over in New Zealand, and then went over to Europe again, did some more racing, and then now reside in Australia. So yeah, it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of travelling.
It is very much travelling.
What was the young Fabian like? Did he ride the lawnmower around the backyard? What did you do that gave you the love for racing, and how young were you when you did?
I started go-karting. A go-kart turned up on my 6th birthday. I wasn't a big lawnmower guy. You know, I left that to my parents. We had probably quite a overgrown lawn because we were always away racing go-karts and things like that. So yeah, I started when I was 6, and then it started off as a hobby and then transitioned into a profession, and now I'm living the dream.
Yeah. Let's look at your very interesting career. You competed in the Formula Ford support races at the Australian Grand Prix, winning the Alan Jones Trophy with 2 wins and a second in 3 races. Quite the start, really. Your cousin David finished 4th in the Formula 1 the same weekend. Were you two close?
Yeah, David's my second cousin. So I actually met David for the first time at the Grand Prix that year. So I'd come over from New Zealand, had success in Formula Ford, and then we wanted to then move on and try other categories, but we wanted to do some racing in Formula Ford in Australia. So we chose to do the Australian Grand Prix. Like you mentioned, we won the Alan Jones Trophy, which has never been won by somebody outside of Australia. So that was quite cool to take that back to New Zealand with me. But yeah, I wouldn't say me and David were very close. You know, obviously we share the same last name, and that's probably about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. In the same year, you won the New Zealand Formula Ford Championship. You showed early that you really had the talent for racing. Like your car life must have been moving fast.
It certainly was. Like I said, started off go-karts, did Formula Ford and had some success, and after Formula Ford we went over to Formula Renault in England. But yeah, I don't know anything other than racing. You know, for me it's been what I've done every weekend, so when I have a weekend off I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. In the UK, you competed in the British Formula Renault, where you were teammates with future Formula 1 world champ Lewis Hamilton. Do you still talk to him now? What was he like to work with?
Lewis was a lot of fun. We spoke a lot more back then. Obviously him getting to Formula 1 and all the success and everything like that is, he's a busy man. We don't really talk that much anymore. I saw him at the Grand Prix probably 2 years ago. Stopped and had a brief hello, how you going and things like that, but he's gone on to do much cooler things than me.
Oh, I don't know about that. It said you returned to Australia because your budget was exhausted. Is this another way of saying it was too bloody expensive?
Way too expensive. My mother was a hairdresser that had a hair salon at home, and Dad was a toolmaker by trade, so I didn't come from a wealthy family by any means. But yeah, I needed to get sponsors and people to invest in me to then get myself over to Europe and have a go. I'd rather have a go and see what it was like, know that I gave it a shot, rather than just go, what could have been. So yeah, that money's quite important to continue racing over in Europe.
Yeah, it is. Well, you came back, and thank goodness for Australian racing you did. You raced in the Carrera Cup Championship, finishing 3rd, and were the best rookie of 2004. Then winning the title in 2005, Supercars Superstar arrived. Signing with Paul Morris Motorsport must have been an exciting time.
It was for me, to come back from Europe and say the dream was over. Obviously my childhood dream was always to get to Formula 1. But at some point you need to be realistic about it. So the money dried up, I needed to look at the next best option, and that was to come and race Carrera Cup in Australia for Greg Murphy Racing. Had lots of success there, and the success that I had in Carrera Cup then gave me an opportunity to drive for Paul. So when I say my dream changed, it changed from being a Formula 1 driver to a Supercars driver. So Paul gave me my start and the opportunity to race Supercars, and it progressed from there.
Yeah. It's your 2008 signing I love. Signing with Thief Racing, let's just say you were a steal. Sorry, but I like puns. Listen to this. You were top 10 6 times with a 5th place in Hamilton. It was a great year. I was born in 2008.
2008, you're only young, aren't you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
11.
11, mate, I've been around a lot longer than you.
Yeah.
But for me, getting those opportunities, driving for Paul and then going to, the next team that I drove for in 2008 was, quite instrumental of getting me to where I am. So I've driven for a lot of teams in supercars. I'm sure you're going to get to that. But yeah, to finally find a home here is pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. 2009 was your breakthrough year, the first podium result, a 3rd at the Falcon Tasmania Challenge. What was the feeling like knowing you'd made it?
It's pretty cool. Tasmania's been a great track for me. Like you say, I got my first podium there. It's only a small track, it's very little. Tassie, it's cold, it's windy, things like that. But to actually stand on the podium after so many years of trying, it's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, it would be. In 2010, you joined the Wilkinson Racing. Okay, flashback moment, Fabian. On the first lap of 2010 Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, your left tyre blew after early contact. You spun at 280 kilometers an hour and through the chase and rolled 6 times. Yes, 6 times into the sand trap. I saw it, and you weren't getting out with the sand wedge. Seriously, so scary. Did it give you second thoughts at all about racing?
Not really. I think with racing, and it's a dangerous sport, but we know the dangers when we hop in. With racing, it's not if you crash, it's when you crash. Unfortunately, being such a high intensity sport, you're pushing the boundaries all the time, and when you do that, there's going to be times where you come unstuck. And thankfully with the Bathurst crash, it wasn't my fault. There was a failure, left rear tyre popped. We're 288 kilometres an hour, started to spin, barrel rolled 6 times, finally come to rest 11 seconds after it started to spin. So pretty full on crash, probably the biggest crash, highest speed crash Bathurst's ever seen. But to walk out and get out the other side and have all the fans cheering and things like that when I did survive was pretty cool. But it's a testament to Walkinshaw Racing. They provided me with a safe car, all the gear that we wear and things like that, and I'm here to tell the tale.
Yeah. 2012, you moved to Brad Jones Racing, and here we go, a star emerges. You won your first V8 Supercar at Simmons Plain. That feeling of hitting the flag first must have been amazing. It
was awesome. Like I touched on before, I had great success at Tassie, got my first podium there, first race win for Brad Jones. You work very hard to win, and it's a real team effort. So you can do the best you possibly can, but if you don't have the team behind you, then you struggle. So to get that first win and the monkey off my back, so to speak, was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, it would be. So let's move ahead. 2014, you finished 6th, 2015 7th, 2016 a drop to 13th, but then it happens. You jump up to 3rd in 2017. What changed in this year to take you to the next level?
I spoke earlier about having the team behind me, and this organisation, Shell VPower Racing, DJR Team Penske. We've got very fantastic guys. We've got a great teammate in Scott. And we just push each other, so much, and the car improved throughout the year and got more to my liking. And with a car that you're happy and comfortable with, you get great results.
Yeah. So this year has been brilliant, so consistent and so fast. 2 firsts and 4 seconds. You really are a chance to win the Supercars Championship. It must be a dream come true.
It is, and to align myself with this iconic team, driving for Dick Johnson, Roger Penske, they're 2 massive icons of motorsport. Roger's very successful in America. Dick Johnson was very successful here, and every time I put on my Shell race suit, it's a pretty proud moment. But yeah, to go racing and win races and be consistent, stand on the podium, it's very satisfying.
It would be satisfying. Well, being one of the favourites for this weekend, how do you handle the pressure of expectation?
I think expectation, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to perform. You always want to do good things. Every time you put your helmet on, sit in that race car, you always you want to win. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. I don't think you can put any external pressure on me to make me perform any better. But I think, you know, starting off in go-karts and progressing through the ranks, the levels of pressure has got a little bit greater each time, and you know, it builds up to this moment. So I don't think about it too much.
Yeah. So after driving the track, what do you think of the bend?
We drove it for the first time here last year. That was it was interesting. It was pretty slippery in places and things like that, obviously with the new surface. But you know, there's been a lot of racing here since then, so I think there'll be faster lap times. The track's probably evolved, got a little bit more grippy, more rubber's gone down and things like that. So you know, once we get out there and have a bit of a taste, then we'll know a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Fabian, you're an awesome story, and I've loved learning all about you. You are interesting and so talented. I can't wait to see you hold up the title in the near future. You need something, you don't have to make this happen. It's a celebration, and I have the perfect one, the Into the Fire. You can use it on the podium this week, and with the champagne bottle on the other hand. Goes like this. Try?
Yeah. So how would I do? That's what I have to do?
You want to try it one more time together?
Yeah, just in case.
Okay, that's good.
Nailed it.
Well, thank you, Fabian, for taking some time out of a busy schedule to meet me today. You're a great guy, and I wish you all the best for this season and beyond.
No worries. Thank you, mate. Thanks, Liam.